What's happening, you guys? I am back. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry, it's been a while. It's been like 2 weeks. Thanksgiving happened. Other things happened. I was very anxious and stressed. My motivation was low, so no video was recorded. So sorry about that. But today I'm going to be doing a really highly requested video, which is how did I get my job at Most Amazing Top 10? So many people DM me this and ask me. You guys comment on the videos and ask. So I was like, let me share my most amazing story with you guys. How did this bitch end up at the top? Looking like that, god damn. Okay, so how I got my job is a very interesting story. So basically, as you guys know, I want to be an actress. In Toronto, there is a site called mandy.com and it's for, auditions, whether it be for commercials, short films, yada yada yada. And basically, yeah. So I feel like most of you guys will not know this, but in Toronto, there's a site called mandy.com. I don't know if it's in the US as well and like around the world, but it is in Toronto. And basically, people post a bunch of auditions on there for their short films, for their commercials, for their jobs, for example. And that's where I saw the ad for like a top 10 host. And the ad was actually for top 10 nerd, not even for most amazing top 10. And I was like, hosting? I was like, I've never hosted before. And then I was like, okay, can I host? Can I not host? And then I tried my hosting voice at home and I was like,
hello, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Ayman Hasan. Welcome back to another video. Today we are gonna be...
You know what I mean? It's a different voice to when I'm speaking normally, obviously. So I was like, oh, actually, I'm not too bad at this host voice thing. Let me try. So I applied and they got in touch with me and they're like, okay, this is gonna be your audition. And basically for the audition, I had to do a script on, what was it? I had to do a script on the top 3 most evil versions of Venom. Venom being the Marvel superhero. And keep in mind, you guys, I have not seen a single Marvel movie. I didn't even know who Venom was. The movie was just about to come out in like a week or two. So literally, I spent one whole day researching and writing the script, calling all like my Marvel friends, and I was like, explain Venom to me, explain all like the versions of Venom to me.
Which one is the most evil one?
And so it was so in detail, and I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna nail it. So I wrote the script and I practiced it a bunch, and obviously I didn't know a teleprompter was a thing, so I thought I had to memorize the whole script, and so I did. Obviously, I'm an actor, I have semi-photographic memory, so memorizing was not an issue. Yeah, I just stunted on you hoes. I have semi-photographic memory. Actually, that really helped for exams and stuff. I could just read things once and like be able to remember it. Yes. That's why I did well in school, you guys. Either way, so on the day, I go in and I'm already 10 minutes late. I'm 10 minutes late for the audition. I was like, okay, great. I'm obviously not gonna get the job. I've already made such a bad impression. Either way, I met with the COO. If you guys know him, his name is Liam. And basically, like he interviewed me beforehand and he was like, oh, so like, what's your goal? Like, what's your career path, etc., etc. Are you into comic books and superheroes? And I 100% lied in the interview. I was like, oh yeah, 100%, Okay, you're lying if you said you've never lied in an interview or like you're on your resume. Everyone does it. Okay, that's how people get jobs. When everyone's like, oh, like for your first job, you need some job experience. Like, how am I meant to get my first job when they require experience when I have no experience? Because I need a job to have experience. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, I'm not super into superheroes. Like, I know I'm more into DC than I am Marvel. And he was like, what about comic books? Do you read comic books? I was like, yeah. I was like, I read the Archie comic books. And he was like, and I was like, that's how that went. I hoped like I sold it enough that he was like, okay, at least this girl's like semi-interested in this topic. Either way, I go up and I do the audition, and then when I realize there's a teleprompter, I'm like, mother of God, I just wasted like 1 hour yesterday memorizing all of this for nothing. Literally for nothing. So I go into the room, and at this point, if you guys know Charlotte from IO, Charlotte was in there as well. And she was obviously this like 6 foot tall, beautiful, like intimidating woman. So I was like, holy fuck, this woman is in here and probably gonna like judge the shit out of me. Either way, so I'm doing my audition and the lady was like, oh yeah, if you need the speed of the teleprompter, faster or slower, just let me know. And because I memorized the script, it didn't really matter how fast or slow the teleprompter was going because I didn't really need it because I memorized it. Either way, I go into it and like, I think 3 or 4 lines, or maybe into my first paragraph, I was like, oh, can you make the teleprompter a bit faster? Because it was going at the speed of, I kid you not, nothing. It was going at the speed of me after having Thanksgiving dinner and not being able to move. That's how slow it was going. I was like, can we go a bit faster? And I basically finished the audition and I was like, oh, and I knew I made some mistakes here and there in terms of the script because I was doing it off memory. And then I was like, oh, like I did make a few mistakes here and there. And then Charlotte was like, no, you didn't. That was like perfect. And like, I thought that was a very bitchy comment. And I was like, is she being sarcastic? Is she making a dig at me? So honestly, my first impression of Charlotte, and I was like, oh, what a bitch. Either way, I go downstairs and then Liam kind of basically told me that like I had the job sort of thing. He's like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna hire you. And then like I think it was a week later, I believe, I got the call from Landon and he was like, yeah, like, would you like to be a host? Yada yada yada. And then I was like, oh my god, yes! And I was so happy because other than like working retail at Abercrombie & Fitch, this was my first real job. In Dubai, it's actually illegal for you to get a job until you're 21. So obviously I had no job back home. I worked at Abercrombie for like a few years before I got this job. And this was, I think, the summer after I graduated. So it was like bang in September, October. And I was like, perfect. I was like, I've entered the workforce merely months after graduation. I am a god. Either way, so that's what happened. And it was so funny. So on my first day, I messaged Landon and I was like, oh, like I'm here. And I obviously don't think he had my number because he was like, who is this? And I was like, oh, I was like,
am I not meant to be starting today? Like, what's going on?
So either way, yeah, he's there. He shows me around everywhere. And I get to meet Rebecca and Danny and they were all very sweet and everything like that. And it's so funny. I'm trying to remember what my first video that I had to script was that day. I think it was top 10 like scary ways the world could end in 2020 or like 2019. I'm not really sure. And I kid you not, like these days it takes me like 3 hours, 4 hours max to do a script. But like back then it literally, I started at 9 and I finished it at like 1. How long is that? 10, 11, 12, 1. Okay, that's 4 hours. But like, I was on such a time crunch. I was so worried as well. I was like, oh my God, I need to get this finished in time. And obviously back then, I didn't really know what the content kind of was for Top 10. I thought it had to be, you know, like serious and like informational. I didn't know you could like joke about all the time and like make shit up. So like, my thing was so factual. I was barely making any jokes. And I remember when that video went up, everyone thought I was so boring and like everyone hated me because I was the new girl on Top 10. Either way, so that was the thing. I was never gonna be on Nerd. I thought I was gonna be on Nerd. Then basically I speak to Landon, and if you guys don't know, if you have not been following me from the start of my journey, and if you're not a ride or die, then what the hell are you doing here? No, I'm kidding. So if you don't know, before I was on Top 10, Landon wanted to start a new channel called Top 10 Hindi, which you may have seen me on. So basically that channel was gonna be Most Amazing Top 10, but in Hindi, because obviously India has such a huge population. Not even just India, Pakistan, like obviously Pakistanis can understand Hindi because Urdu's not that far from it. He asked me, he was like, oh, so like, I was wondering, are you fluent in this language? Like, would you be able to do it? And keep in mind, as like a third culture kid, when you're not growing up in the country that you're from, it's honestly very hard to like speak the language. Like I can understand everything in Urdu perfectly, but since I think in English, it's harder for me to say things. Like I have to think in English, then translate it and then say it. So I like lied to him low-key and I was like, yeah, I can do it, no problem, whatever the hell. And then they wanted me to do a test, basically like an intro and being like, oh, hey guys, welcome to Most Amazing Hindi. And our Indian editor Sid was the one who was recording me, and like honestly I was so nervous, and like it was literally like 2-liners that I'd prepared and I was like, oh dear God, and like my heart was like palpitating. I was sweating so much. And then the next day I get a call from Landon and he's like, oh, like you didn't look that, you know, confident in your take. Are you sure you can do this? And like me being like such an overachiever, I was 100% up for the challenge because I was like, hey, at least I can get more fluent in Urdu/Hindi and that'll really help me when I go back home to Pakistan. And obviously like as someone who's bilingual, I want to be able to speak my second language to the best of my abilities, you know what I mean? Why am I saying like I'm fucking mansplaining? Sorry about that. And sorry if I sound like a man, my allergies are just ridiculous. Honestly, stroked ninny, then scratched my nose. You know how it is. You know how it be. You know how it be. Either way, so I was like, screw this. So basically my first test for Top 10 Hindi was like top 10 facts about Shah Rukh Khan or something. I think it was something like that. And literally I wrote the script in English, then like asked my sisters and like my dad and my brother-in-laws to help me translate the whole thing. And I practiced it and practiced it and practiced it the night before. And I was even practicing it in the studio right before I filmed, and Landon heard me and he's like, oh, like, buddy, that's great. Like, you sound great. And I was like, I do. So basically, that's how Top 10 Hindi kind of started. And like, I remember it was so funny. The first video I properly like did, oh my God, like usually it's meant to take you 15 minutes to record a video. And I kid you not, it took me 40 minutes because like the things were so complicated and hard to say. And I cried afterwards because I was like holding up the schedule and everyone was like, oh, like, did you just do 3 videos? And I was like, no, I just did 1. And then like I burst out crying like when I went downstairs because I was like, oh my God, like I can't handle this. Like I'm not as fluent as they want me to be, like, and I was under so much pressure and stuff, but like, you know, I persevered. And then like, for the next few months it was really hard because like I was only on Most Amazing Hindi. I did some collabs with Rebecca and Danny, but for the most part, I was trying to start Hindi. And so I would write the scripts in English when I was at work. Then I would come home, take like an hour or 2 break. And then me and my sisters and my dad would be up translating the script to like 2, 3, sometimes 4 a.m. every single day. And I would come to work on like 3 hours of sleep and be absolutely exhausted. But like at least like the translations were there. I was able to film. But that was really, honestly, like when I was on Top 10 Hindi, that was really draining for me. It was so much fun because like by the end of it, by like Jan, keep in mind I got hired at the start of November or start of October, either one. By like the end of January, which is when Top 10 Hindi stopped basically running, I could literally write the script straight in Hindi. I didn't have to do it English and then translate it. It was straight in Hindi and it was really good. Like I was like, damn, go me. मैं इतनी bilingual हूँ, मैं बता भी नहीं सकती हूँ. That basically means I'm so bilingual I can't even tell you guys. So that was the end of Top 10 Hindi. And then at that period in January, I was doing videos on Top 10 and then Landon had to take an extended break. So I kind of replaced him on Top 10 for that period. It was never permanent or anything, but then obviously Danny left and then I became a permanent host on the channel. And it's so funny because everyone thought I was replacing Danny. So everyone was like, oh, fuck you, Ayman. You're not Danny. You don't have a ginger beard. You fucking suck, ho. Literally, oh my God, the amount of hate I got when I started on Top 10. Now everyone, like, obviously everyone now, like, not everyone, obviously you're always gonna have your haters, but for the most part, everyone stands me on Top 10 now. But it's so funny because even when Lindsay first started, everyone was hating on her. When Abby first started, everyone was hating on her. So I feel like people just don't like change at all. But that's basically my story of like how I joined the company, what my first few like months at the company were like. It's so funny, like I'm a literal monster now. I am the loudest in the office. I speak so fucking much, it's a joke. But like the first 8 months I was there, I literally had no friends. I would just quietly do my work. I would speak to Rebecca here and there because I sat next to her, but I honestly didn't really have any friends. I wouldn't take lunch breaks. I would just eat my lunch at my desk and continue working. And keep in mind, when I started, Jared wasn't there, Joss wasn't there, you know, Johnny had just started, Marlene wasn't there. There were so many people that weren't there. So it's like the culture of the company was very different at that time. Now, obviously, the company is so much bigger. We've got Keegan, Taylor, Connor, like Amanda. We have so many new people who I absolutely love. Obviously, I'm saying new, like Amanda has been there. Like Amanda was hired like the week after I was hired. But you know what I mean? Like the company grew so much. The company culture changed so much. And I want to see like working with the people I work with is so much fun, and I know how blessed I am every single day to have the job that I do, because I know like I've never wanted an office job. I never wanted to be that banker or that, you know, that insurance company person. That was never me. I always wanted to be in the arts, whether it be like be my own boss, be on YouTube, be an actor. I was always going for that. I never wanted to have an office job. But it was weird because this was a 9 to 5, but it was YouTube, and I realized how grateful I was and how lucky I was to have a job like that, where like it is a 9 to 5, but you're always using your creative juices and like having fun. And honestly, scripting is not my favorite part of the job. I'm not gonna lie, I hate scripting now because obviously I've done it for so long, you know what I mean? Like after a while it does get tedious, but like hosting, actual hosting and being in front of the camera is my favorite part of the job by far. And obviously replying to all the comments from you guys and all the lovely messages you send me on Instagram and YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, that is basically basically my most amazing top 10 story. I'm sorry if the lighting is, that was so Canadian, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if the lighting is shit. I've tried to move the camera around so the window light is directly on me, but you guys, it is Canada, it is mid-October, the sun is setting sooner than it usually does, and there's just not a lot of light. I was so happy to come home and film today because I was like, oh, like it was so nice and sunny today. As soon as I get home, overcast. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This lighting is not doing me justice, you guys. I'm an attractive girl. Is this coming in? Zoom in on me, bitch. Like, hello, do me some justice, lighting, for God's sake. Like, I'm bloody attractive, like. No, I'm kidding. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, she's so cocky.
It's a joke, fam.
But yeah, guys, that is a story of most amazing top 10, most amazing top 10 Hindi. So you guys, that is basically the end of the video. Now you guys know like my proper origin story for most amazing top 10 Hindi, and obviously now I'm on Central. So it's been a huge ride, and that's that. Thank you guys if you guys liked me from the beginning, or if you hated me and then started liking me. You know, I like bringing people to the dark side, you know what I mean? The force is strong with this one. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Please like this video. And whoever keeps disliking it, I always get like 2 dislikes per videos. Your mom's a hoe. Yeah, the truth hurts, bitch. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!